No, because then you gotta like think about your existence and death and all that kind of stuff, right? If you stay busy, you don't have to confront anything.
Fucking right.
Flying on your motorcycle, feeling like we were 16. 24 days till September, know they'll be expecting me back at school, but I've been thinking, like to carry on down south. Stop and trim some plants for money, lost in LA for a while. 'Cause I got time in school and wait, not sure about
Welcome to
it.
the Marinade, a free-flowing conversation about the creative process with creative people. Each episode, we welcome musicians, actors, comedians, authors, visual artists, filmmakers, anyone who creates art to talk about how and why we make stuff. This is episode 204, and our guest is Seth Anderson. Seth is a singer and songwriter based in Canmore, Alberta, Canada. With a punk rock ethos, Seth melds folk and indie rock into a soothing sauce that feels like comfort food, and that feeling definitely came through in this conversation. Seth's latest record, These Exact Days, These Peaceful Nights, is one of my favorites from 2025. It's been on heavy rotation since he sent me a copy before its release. Y'all, this was so much fun. It is my honor to bring you my conversation with Seth Anderson.
Hits the pool for laps on weekdays. Gets him out the house at least. It's cool that he's let me go. His little way to let me know that I am gonna make it alright. First time I've been on my own. Every Sunday I still call, tell him all the things I saw, all the things we never thought. I miss him, but I'm glad I come. 'Cause I got time in school and wait, not sure about it.
Hey, Seth.
Hey man, how's it going?
Good, good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. A little hectic, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Sounds like you're in the same boat.
dude. It feels like every time I get to a place where I like sort of have a breather, I then create some other thing for myself to do
Feel
that
that.
that like throws a wrench in everything. I just had uh this run of things where I was like super busy, and then I was like, oh, okay, all I have left is this open mic I'm hosting. And
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, but and then in the process of that, I was like, I also decided that I was gonna make a record of my songs. So
Yeah, I saw
now,
that you're doing like a campaign for that, hey?
yeah, so now I'm going to the studio Sunday. So I'm hosting open mic
Oh no
Wednesday.
shit.
I'm going to the studio Sunday.
Right
It's
away.
like
Wow.
it's like damn. All right, dude. You could just like I don't know, chill the fuck out for a week or something, but then you gotta
That doesn't work for people like us.
no, because then you gotta like think about your existence and death and all that kind of stuff, right? If you stay busy, you don't have to confront anything.
Fucking right.
How was practice?
You know what? It didn't end up happening,
Oh.
which was kind of a blessing in a way, because I've got a ton of shit to do here. I bought a new van last week,
Mm.
because we're going on the road for a few days here this weekend. So I've been like scrambling to get that registered and thinking about towing a trailer with it and all this and
Yeah.
just piling up.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm so grateful that you made this happen. Come here, Bubba. Bucket. What are you doing? Um I absolutely love your record, These Exact Days, These Peaceful
Mm,
Nights. I'm so glad we connected, man.
thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I guess we have Joe Mayako probably to thank for that. Anytime
Yeah.
Joe recommends somebody, and he speaks so highly of you, and like
Uh,
he's one of those people who like when he loves his people, he loves his people, you know. And
yeah.
so as soon as
Joe's like the glue, man. He's the glue and keeping everybody together, I think.
dude, you're like the second person in a couple months to say that. Can you talk about your relationship with Joe and what you mean by that? Because I think that's worth exploring.
I met Joe through my pal Sammy K. Um,
Yeah, same as my boy too.
yeah, and I only met Joe in person like last year, I think, or I guess it was like a year and a half ago now. And yeah, I don't know. We just became like instant friends, and Joe's like so generous with his time.
Mm.
did all the artwork for my record,
Mm.
or all the layout and everything. And I don't know, like it seems like every artist, that we love, Joe's like, pals with them too.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
He just
Yeah.
like formed, like he's like the connecting line of so many people that kind of have the same ethos, and kind of have their heart and their head in the same place, it seems,
Yeah.
and they're doing it for a certain reason, and Joe's just like right in the middle of it all.
Well, I think he, if I remember correctly, he is how I met Sammy, or how I got connected with Sammy, and Sammy and I have become friends over the last few years. I saw him in Kentucky actually at the Bourbon and Beyond Festival in September.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then Sammy and the Kilograms are supposed to come down here for Fest. I'm in Orlando, and I don't know what happened, but they didn't make it, unfortunately. So I was excited to see him, but I didn't get to see him. But
Yeah, I
that's
haven't I
great.
haven't seen the Kilograms yet.
I haven't either. I listened to a fuck ton of it, but I haven't
Yeah.
gotten to see him live. One of these days I got to. It's such a fun project.
Yeah, all these years too. I mean, like I met Sammy when he was doing his solo, or he was doing his full band solo kind of stuff. Like this
Mm,
was maybe 3 records ago. And I always, like, everywhere that we went, like touring together, there was all this like ska community that he
mm.
was a part of, and all those people were like so supportive, and like came to our shows and everything. And I was always just like, man, I want to see like ska Sammy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he's like, those days are behind me. Like I don't do that no more.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
then yeah, next thing you know, he's got this wonderful project.
yeah,
Okay, so that kind of begs a question that I've been reserving for the end of conversations, but I think we can jump into it earlier on, which is,
sure.
you just used the word community. And um I've been part of staying so busy and having so much going on is that I'm aggressively trying to seek community and help build it wherever I can in an increasingly bleak world. And I'm just interested in like what your relationship is like with community right this minute, and like how you're finding it.
Um, I think like as a solo touring musician, largely that's what I've done for the most of my existence. Uh, it's easy to kind of get stuck in this thing where you're trying to do it all yourself,
Mm,
and um, having that community is just like this huge weight that is lifted off your back, because you can feel like you're doing it all on your own, and it just doesn't have to be that way. and
uh,
and just like having other people involved, being a part of a bigger kind of picture is what for me, like what gives it purpose, I think. And
mm,
I'm a pretty introverted I'm one of those introverted extroverts, I guess, and I'm real good at isolating myself, and I don't hate it. So it's easy for me to go into my own world, and connecting with the community. It's like that's what fills me up. It's like
mm,
maybe I'm making safety for myself, isolating myself, but it's not necessarily as good for me as being a part of something bigger.
yeah.
So it's the last year I've been home and kind of not touring a lot, and I've really been missing that aspect of touring, and just like seeing my friends everywhere and getting those little reminders that there's people that we're connecting with, and that kind of that I believe in them and they believe in me, and
Mhm.
that's important, I think.
Yeah. Where are you based exactly?
I'm in Canmore, which is about an hour west of Calgary, Alberta,
Okay.
and I'm just like on the eastern edge of the Rockies, right beside Banff National Park.
Oh, word. That's a bucket list hike for me. I need to get up there and spend some time in
Yeah, it's
Banff.
sick.
Um, okay, so like when you're going on tour coming up, is it going to be fairly local?
Yeah, I've been taking a band out for these release shows in Western Canada.
Uh-huh.
So 5-piece band. So I've just booked us like some weekend kind of rips, like 3 or 4 days, and I'm not sure what will happen after that. I'm definitely gonna get down to the States, probably doing some solo stuff. I just got my visa about a month ago, so trying to organize some of that. And yeah, I think whenever I put out a record, I have this pipe dream of getting a band out for as many shows as I can, and
Yeah.
and good intentions, but for me, just like the organizing aspect of that is a lot of heavy lifting, and
Mm.
I do the best I can with it, but I think when it comes down at the end of the day, it's like it's easier for me to just get in my van and go on my own, and as far as like um finding like um longevity and maybe like a bit of consistency, it's easier for me to do that on my own.
What lessons have you learned? I'm selfishly asking this question because I do intend this summer, once I get this record out, to do a little tour in the Southeast. And I'm interested in, like, as you reflect on that, you want to get the band out, but it's easier just for you to go. Like, what lessons about touring have you learned over the years? Like, what you've been doing this a while. Like, what kind of lessons have you learned about that process and things you wish you'd known, 15 or 20 years ago or whatever?
I don't think I've learned a damn thing because I'm still I'm still doing the same shit.
Maybe you
I
were
don't know.
just perfect at it from the beginning and you didn't need
I
to learn
doubt
any lessons.
that. I guess like this like motto that I tell people that I've like learned from touring is like there's no such thing as problems, only solutions. Because
That's
like
awesome.
because that's like you can't focus on shit that's going wrong when you're touring, and because like what are you gonna do about it? Like
Mm.
you're there. It's like being stuck on a desert island. You're just there, and you have to make the best of what's going on. So um, that's like a mentality I try to carry, but it gets harder with as age comes. But I think like the main thing these days that I'm like I quit drinking a few years ago, so that's like added, you know, it's made touring easier and also uh, in some ways harder, I guess. But one thing that I'm really trying to remember as I'm like looking into booking tours now is like going out for more than 2 or 3 weeks is usually not that advantageous. Like the
Mm-hmm.
shows aren't getting better usually after a couple or 3 weeks out there, and I don't know, I get tired, man. Like I get
Mm.
burnt out, and yeah, it's hard to admit it, but I'm not the young pup that I once was. So.
Is the not is the harder part of the not drinking the amount of time you have on your hands?
Um, no, like for me personally, it's like I just can't turn it off, like my brain, and
Uh-huh.
I get pretty burnt out with not being in like always being in somebody else's space.
Mm. Mm.
Like as grateful as I am for people that help out, give me a place to stay and all that, like that's amazing. But no matter what, it's not the same as being in your own place. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, it's like I just need to like it doesn't have to be for long, but like I gotta plant my feet
Mm-hmm.
uh, back home. I mean, I do a lot of things on tour to kind of try to create that like routine every day, and that's really helpful for me. But it's mostly just like I get overwhelmed and I get a little like burnt on just not having that safe space to other than my van.
Yeah. 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 No, I get that a lot. I totally get that. Very few things make me feel less comfortable than, like, inconveniencing other people, or even feeling like I'm inconveniencing other people, even if they swear I'm not,
Yeah,
and I'm probably not, right?
yeah,
Like, very few things. It's so hard for me to just relax and be myself when I'm
yeah,
staying with people, unless it's like there's those few folks that really, really well, family type situations. But even then, even like my grandma, who's my hero and like my best bud, even like being in her space, I just feel like, and she would love for me to just move in, but
yeah,
but even being in her space, I totally get that, man. And I can imagine on the road, it's even amplified because you're like tired and you're sweaty after your gig, or
yeah.
you're like, you got all kinds of like inconvenient luggage.
Yeah.
You know?
I used to lug a mattress in, like I usually tour with this like full mattress in the back of my van,
Uh-huh.
and I sleep in there often, but I got to the point where I was touring so much that I would like lug that into people's houses and be like, you got a couch? That's cool, but listen, I got this mattress in my van, and it's like that's my consistent thing, so I'm gonna drag it in and put it on your floor.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Are you
And then
able? Sorry.
I'm just reiterating the greatness of that mattress.
Yeah. There's something special about a great mattress. I have one right here, and it is, if I could, it's a king size. If I could take it with me on the road, I absolutely would. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so that I love what you said though about like there are no problems, there are only solutions. Are you able to transfer that wisdom into your day-to-day life in any way?
I mean, I try to. Um, I think as I again like getting older, it's like just one thing I've especially with stopping drinking, like and things kind of reality kind of setting in a little bit. Um, I've built this life around touring and music, and that's kind of one thing I noticed when I stopped drinking in the pandemic. Like that was so much my identity,
Mm,
um, and as I've gotten older, I'm seeing like it is a little harder to to make a living from just music, and
mm,
I'm seeing I need to build this other side of my life maybe, and I think maybe before I use that as like I ain't gonna worry about shit. I'm just gonna keep throwing caution to the wind,
mm, mm,
but like
mm.
there's no problems, only solutions. It was like I didn't see any problems with anything.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so now it's like, I do recognize the areas of my life that maybe aren't fitting my end goals, or, what creates more safety or longevity for me. So I think like how I phrase that, how I kind of interpret that is a little bit different now.
Mm,
It's like, oh, there are some problems and that's okay, but like it's time to do the thing and like, try to fix or do something to fix them.
hmm.
So I think it's actually put into action. I'm trying to put it into action more realistically now than I used to, maybe.
What was that decision like? You said it was during the pandemic that you quit drinking.
Yeah.
Like, was what was that equation like for you? I know it's such a different thing for everybody, but I'm really interested, especially during that particular time when there was so much stress and it was so many folks, and I was guilty of this, did retreat to alcohol as a coping mechanism. What was that equation like for you at the time?
Um, it kind of like added up over a few months. Like early in the pandemic, I was living with a couple friends, and yeah, we just like partied all the time. And that was like our way of coping with it. And then
Yeah.
and then that kind of got boring, and that
Hmm.
kind of ran out. And I don't know, like for me, just like my relationship with alcohol had kind of changed in the last few years, and I just found like I was starting to lose control a little bit of like I wasn't trusting myself as much when I was drinking, and um I'd actually like started I tried to quit, a couple times. I was still bartending and drinking my way through shifts, and
Hmm.
I remember I just was like finally was just like that's it, man. Like I had that moment of I'm done with my own shit kind of, and I delved into like therapy at that point too, going to therapy, and I was just um I was kind of like I just need to feel all this shit, and
Mm.
I can't mask it with anything. I was really ready to, I think, deal with some stuff, and um I just was done. Like I don't know else to explain it, but
Yeah.
I just hit that point where I was like I'm just like, am I at where I want to be at in my life? And I couldn't say that I was, so I was like, time to try something different, kind of.
Mm.
Yeah.
Did you notice any change in your creative process?
It got pretty crazy for a while. And that's kind of where this record came from. Um, the day after I was out for the last time, like drinking with my friends, it was kind of cool. One of my friends, my closest friends, they gave me this old Fender acoustic guitar. This one here, actually.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it's like an old 90s model. But anyway, I woke up the next day and I swear it's got the same strings on it that when they bought it. But yeah, I woke up the next day and I wrote a song, and then I kind of like found this routine every day. I'd get up and I would start doing yoga. I had
Mhm.
like months before that, but um yeah, I would kind of like settle in every morning, and I had a routine, and then I would sit and just pick up the guitar, and I whatever the first melody or a line that came out, that was the first line of a song. And I just kind of like built the songs line by line, and would record as I went on my phone, and I did that for like 2 or 3 months straight, nearly every day. And
Wow.
just all that stuff from like so many memories from childhood. And uh I don't know, I'm sure you found as like touring, like you just compile all this shit in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget people, like I'm so terrible with forgetting chunks of time, and like whole periods of my life. I feel like,
Yeah. Yeah,
in
yeah.
childhood, and it's just like something unlocked in my brain, and I just started, it's like having those dreams where you're like, where the fuck did that come from? And I was writing all these songs, and like that stuff was coming out. Um, like just so much nostalgia, and like so much clarity too at the same
Mm.
time. It was really interesting to me. Like I felt like an observer kind of to it all happening.
That's really interesting. And I think that happens. A similar thing happens to me anytime I take a break from drinking. I recently
Mm,
did, and for the reason that we were talking about at the beginning was like I just kind of came to a moment where I was like, I have all these things on my plate, and they're all really important to me. It's not like somebody else's thing. These are like I was officiating my friend's wedding. I have this open mic I'm starting that means the fucking world to me. This show means so much to me. Like all these things were building up, and of course decided to make a record on there. But like, but I took a little bit of a break because I was like, I can do this while I'm drinking. Like I
yeah,
can, and it'll be fine. Like it'll probably be good. Or I can I can get the clarity of mind that comes from when I don't drink. And man, I'm glad I did it. But then as soon as the wedding hit, I was like, okay, cool. Now I'm gonna have a drink to celebrate, And then I sort of started to fall back into habits, not bad habits, but just sort of like noticing the shift in clarity. I like how you
mm,
brought that up because there is a shift in clarity when I'm drinking, even if it's a little bit, even if it's a couple drinks a night,
yeah,
um, versus if I have prolonged periods of sobriety. And especially once I hit, a few weeks in, then it starts to get to a place where I'm like comfortable with sitting with everything and I'm able to articulate things in a way that I'm not if I have the coping mechanism, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. I hear you. Yeah, I can feel that for sure. I think for me too, and I've noticed like there was a period of gains there when I stopped drinking, and then there's been periods of diminished returns as well,
Mm,
where it's like um where you kind of bump up against that line of like all the things that you were using alcohol to like cope with,
mm-hmm,
as your coping mechanism. And for me, there's like some mental health stuff that I used alcohol for to get through,
mm-hmm.
and I'm still learning how to be a human without it, to be honest. I mean, um, and I don't have that switch anymore to turn it off, and that was like the biggest thing that I benefited from with alcohol, when I was younger, especially like socially. And when I was in control, uh I was fucking killing it. I felt
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
without
yeah. Yeah.
Like when I had it dialed, when I, hit the sweet spot, like hell yeah,
Yeah.
it was awesome. But
It's fun and it's like,
I
yeah,
felt cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that just that consistent, like that wasn't. It got harder for that to be consistent, I guess, as I got older. So, but I'm not gonna say that I don't miss it in a lot of ways, and I'm not gonna say that it fixed me either. Just when I did stop, it was just like it just feels like I had to start. Like a lot of people maybe say that, but it's like a rebirth in ways when you do stop, and for me, it's definitely it feels like that, and it feels like I'm just a little kid in a lot of ways, figuring shit out still.
Yeah. Man, I
Yeah.
was reflecting on the idea of like uh just lately like sitting with stuff, having gone through a really heavy period of my life and feeling like I'm getting on the other side of a lot of it, and then there'll be a day where it just something hits me that I go, nope, you haven't processed that shit yet. Nope, you are not through that. You got a lot of work to do on that. That is not there yet. And I was just thinking about like about friends of mine who quit drinking, but then they just like I guess the term here is dry drunk, but like taking having some other thing that is their coping mechanism that's maybe not as healthy. And in a lot of cases, it ends up being marijuana. And like the California sober argument, right? Now, I'm
Yeah.
not saying everybody who's California sober it fits in this box. I'm just saying I know motherfuckers who are like, well, I don't drink anymore, but I get real stoned and real mean,
Yeah.
like because that was an interesting thing to
Who are
me
these people?
like lately it's been so interesting to me because I think the stereotype is like, you get high and you're like, whatever, man, you're cool and you don't worry about things. And I'm like, man, I've met a lot of motherfuckers lately that they get high and they are mean. And
That's a whole
the
nother breed. I've never seen
oh
that.
my God, dude, I know a lot of them. And it's like that filter drops but it drops through weed instead of alcohol.
Mm.
And I don't know, it's just something that I was reflecting on too, thinking about like my own habits. I don't fuck with weed because I'm not good at it. So
Mhm.
it's just like that's not part of my coping. Um, I wish I was. I'm jealous of people who
Me too. I always
yeah.
wanted to be a good weed smoker, but
Yeah.
never got.
You're not good either. Yes. Yeah, I'm
No,
not
I
good
suck
at
at
it. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I just get anxious and I like freak out about everything and like it's just I'm not fun, I'm not interesting. Like it's yeah.
it.
I don't like hear music different, man. No, I'm like
Yeah.
even more terrified to die than I
Yeah.
already am on a daily
If
basis.
that's possible.
If that's possible. Oh man. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about the record because it's one of those uh that I love the ones there are plenty of records I listen to that I love that take time for me. And then there are records that I listen to the first time and go, fuck yeah. And this was one of those first time listen, fuck
Oh yeah.
yes.
Wow. Thank you.
For sure. And it's like the word I keep coming back to, and for a guy who writes about music and podcasts about music, I wish I had a more eloquent way to put this. But I just keep every time I listen to it, I'm like, God, it's so beautiful.
Oh,
That's what I keep coming back to. Is like it's lyrically beautifully written. It's sonically gorgeous. It feels like there's plenty of heavy themes and intense stuff to process in it, but uh, there are. It feels like like I'm floating on a musical cloud. That's how beautiful the music is, and I'm wondering if like that's a feeling that you were aware of or were intentional with. If you hear the same thing that I do when I listen to it, because I just keep going, God, it's so beautiful.
wow. That's the nicest thing anybody could say. Sorry, the dogs are going wild up there. Is
Oh,
that
I
real
can't
loud?
hear him.
Okay, cool.
Mine's over here chewing a bone. He'll be like playing with his dog bowl in a second, making all kinds of racket. It's all good,
Um,
but I don't
okay.
hear him.
Yeah, I guess well that's like a lot to credit to Lydia Lovelace who produced the
Mhm.
record sonically. Um, when we when we talked about making the record the first time, we kind of lined up on a bunch of artists that we liked,
Mm.
and I really wanted, uh, I think like I said, it like after I quit drinking, it was like this new kind of beginning. It felt like, and in making this record, I felt that I wanted to do something that I hadn't done before. You know, like I kind of wanted to suck the wouldn't say the grit out of it, but just kind of like the
Mm.
masculine energy out of it a little bit.
That makes a lot of sense. I don't mean to cut you off, but that makes a lot of sense after I listened to all your other records. And
Yeah,
like, yes, that makes a lot of sense.
yeah, because I grew up on punk rock and that kind of stuff, and so much has always come from kind of an angst or
Mm-hmm.
something. And with this record, it felt like I was writing more kind of like as just an observer and less like emotional puking, kind of. And yeah, when I thought
Mm.
about the production, like I wanted to present it that way, as a little bit more passive, maybe energetically, uh, and maybe just yeah, a different approach than I usually took to performing, and also the production side of it. Usually it was like faster or louder or like
Mm-hmm.
heavier if I wanted. And the whole thing with this album, I wanted to, like, when I felt that, I wanted to pull back and
Mm.
kind of settle into, it's like that fight or flight. Like I always went to the fight or flight, and I wanted to bring myself back to safe and just like ride it out, you know.
Yeah. Man. Okay. So what was it like? I'm a huge fan of Lydia's.
Mhm.
Um, what was it like working with Lydia? Like, what was that? Clearly, you had ideas about the production for sure, right? You had a vision for the production. What was that working relationship like on the record?
It was super cool in this, like in the studio. We kind of like we became friends pretty quickly, and we had the same uh we had the same general view, and I knew also that they would push me kind of like outside of that too,
Mm,
which I wanted, like I felt like I put so much of myself into the songs. I was like, I need to, like, and I didn't know if they were good or whatever.
mm,
I was like, I need to kind of let somebody else take control for a bit, which was kind of hard for me.
mm.
Um, and I made the record in 6 days, or I was in Ohio for 6 days between, like, I think I was out for like 4 months, and I did the record right in the middle, and um, was there with Liv, and I was like road haggard, and I think I was maybe not the model studio artist.
Oh, interesting. What do you
when
mean? What do you mean?
Well, it was hard. Like, I mean, I struggle with recording anyway. It's fucking
Uh,
hard. You
uh-huh.
So I struggle with the click, and I'm realizing not to make excuses now that, like, that's attached to a lot of my mental illness, like, ADHD and shit like that. Um,
Mm,
but creatively, we just like really gelled on a lot of stuff, and Lid is awesome at uh, you know, just taking it that little bit outside of where we think it should be, into a
hmm.
little bit more weirdness, but not too far where it's like, oh, that's fucked up, like, just has this like confidence and like really um, confident vision, I guess, of trying things
Mm,
that I really appreciated. And yeah, like it was a hard record to make. We had those 6 days, and then I was gone for most of the rest of the record, and they would bring people into the studio to add tracks that we needed, and I was touring a bunch, and Lydia was touring a bunch, so it took us some time, and communication wasn't always super easy,
mm,
um, but I think for both of us, we like really grew a lot through that
mm.
process. And I mean, I said to Lydia when we started, I'm like, if it's not hard, it's not worth it. Like, nobody ever made something that was easy that turned out to
Yeah.
be, be great. Um, so I think, like, we worked through a lot of stuff as we made the record, and the wins were like really big. And um, Lid is like a super talented producer, and like just the way that her and her band uh, interpret music, and the way that they perform, and it's just like they really really feel it on a
Mm.
intense level. And that was like really powerful to me, I guess, like having some of her guys play on the album. And like she brought in John Calvin Abney as well to play, and he added a ton of really cool stuff to the record, and kind of like gave it a whole nother element in a lot of ways with like his soundscape work and all that. So
Yeah.
it was like it was like such an honor, of course, to work with Lydia, and it's cool when that is also turns into a friendship, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And there's space in there for disagreeing and for like having your tiffs with or whatever and working through it. And it just like, I don't know, like I feel really grateful to have that experience with them. And but it was a hard record to make for sure. Like I feel like we worked for the beauty of it.
Good.
Maybe it wouldn't be as fulfilling if we didn't. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it is beautiful. And there's a couple of times, I mean, throughout the record there, I kept, and typically for me, because like I'm a lyrics guy, I'm a writer. I can play guitar, but not great. And like when I write songs, it's always lyrics first, and then I try to figure out how to play it. And the melody's there, but like me taking what I hear in my head and putting it on the guitar is like that's the hard part for me. The writing part just like flows out of me. Um, as soon as an idea comes. Uh, so a lot of times, even when I listen to a record, instrumentation is going to take a back seat. Melody obviously is incredibly important, but I'm not going to like notice a particular piano part all that often. I will after careful listens, but the piano specifically on this record, it really lends itself to that beauty that I was talking about. Like it really stands out, not in a distracting way, but like it's so pretty and it's like fits so beautifully. Can you talk about that?
I mean, I had very little to do with that, I think. That was I mean, I had like I had some ideas with some of that, but yeah, it's so subtle.
Yeah.
And I feel like everything on the record is pretty, is well placed and or for the most part, and there's nothing like everything is done with a little bit of restraint. Um and yeah, I just feel like that's one of the great jobs that Lydia did, and all the players too. It's like they just brought the perfect amount, and they all like had such a huge respect for like the songs. That was one thing that kind of kept coming up when I would like when I was with them or spoke with them. They just really wanted to serve the song, and I think that comes across, and like you're saying, with the subtleness and not an overwhelming amount of piano, but just the right amount, and
Mm-hmm.
just to give it the little lift that it needed, that kind of thing. It's like they all really saw that, and that's what makes a great player, I think, too. To have that kind of vision and to know when to sit back or when to ramp it up.
Yeah. Just thinking about, I want to ask you about a couple songs on the record, but before I do that, something about what we were just discussing. I think it was like the idea of being, having been on the road for a while when you got into the studio and being a little, road weary.
Mm.
What are some of the experiences out on the road, like in your years of touring? Who are some folks that like you've had a chance to go out on the road with that like you look back really fondly on those moments, and or any tours in particular that you look back on and you're kind of nostalgic for?
Oh man, there's been so many. I guess like I've had a lot of great tours. Of course, with Sammy, me and him have been out quite a few times together.
Hmm.
I've been really lucky to go out with Off with Their Heads a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Somehow it's a very weird pairing, but I met Ryan Young, their singer. I opened for him probably like 8 years ago now or something. And he took me out on a couple tours, just playing with him. I would open and play with him a little bit, or me, him, and Kyle, the drummer, went out a couple of years ago. And those tours are just like gravy train kind of for me. It's like hotels every night, and Brian just takes good care of me, and the shows are all good. It's kind of like, it's like, oh sweet, if I could have if my career could be what I wanted, like that'd be sick to be able to do what they do all the time with that comfort level. So those tours are super memorable, and I've I've had, like, in the last few years since I stopped drinking, I've started running a lot, and one of the things that I've worked into touring with that, it kind of started with them. We'd be in all these places that before I'd drive through and be like, man, I just want to get out and explore. And I was able to, like, on days off, get out and run in all these cool places. And touring solo now too, I usually take 2 or 3 days off a week, especially in like the western side of the states, and run in the mountains or wherever. Like I got to go to the Grand Canyon last year for the first time and ran a bunch of that. And that's kind of like what my tours of, I call them tourcations now, but I've kind of like shifted my touring regiment into kind of working it around being able to go check out these cool places. And I think like it really, really bugged me before to drive past these awesome places and not be able to check them out.
Yeah.
So
I love that. I love that. Just sort of structuring your, I think about that a lot. Like one of the things that keeps me, I'm a middle school teacher to pay the bills. And one of the things that keeps me teaching is I have so much time off. And
yeah,
so then I'm able to like dedicate that time to this work and
yeah,
songwriting and all the things that fill the cup. And we don't get paid shit as teachers in Florida, but I part of what keeps me there is like structuring my life in a way that I am able to access the things that are really important to me. So it's
yeah,
like I'm able to do a lot of this kind of work, the podcasting, the writing, the songwriting, because I just have the time to do it. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I structured my life in a different way. If I was trying to, I don't know, pay my bills comfortably.
who does that anyway? What does that even mean?
So I like that a lot. It makes a lot of sense. Just sort of structuring that tour so you can go do those things. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was like good for a while. Definitely I'm shifting again into how I'm approaching things, I think, but because that would turn, a 3 week tour into like a 6 week tour often.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I've been pretty lucky with, like, I did a tour with Chad Price last year.
Oh, cool.
That was awesome. He's such a rad person.
Yeah.
KJ Jansen from Chicks Dig It's a good buddy of mine. He lives in Calgary,
Mhm.
and we've done some touring together, which is awesome. Yeah, Joey Cape, John Snodgrass. Although
I
I've been
just
pretty
saw
lucky.
John 2 weeks ago. John was in
Yeah,
Orlando a couple weeks ago.
cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been like I'm pretty grateful for like people I've got to play with, because they've all been my favorite songwriters. You
Yeah.
know, like Chuck Reagan and Cresswell and all. Like, yeah, there's so many.
Yeah. That's cool.
But yeah, yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah.
A couple songs on the record that for whatever reason, I keep coming back to. I'm not really even sure what, because the whole thing is so beautiful, like I said. But something about Motorcycle brings me back, continues to bring me back. Can you talk about that one?
Um, that was like particularly one of those ones where I was like, I felt insane when I wrote it, and
Mm.
like all this shit was just, I was like, that doesn't make any sense, but I'm just gonna, and it's kind of like all this stuff you pick up. Like part of it is about me, part of it's about like stories from friends,
Mm.
uh, like flying on your motorcycle. It's kind of like see myself as a 16-year-old girl,
Mm.
which is a whole nother thing. And there's part of it about, trimming plants, and on the way down south, like that's some friends of mine that used to ride motorbikes down to Mexico, and they'd stop in California and trim weed. And I think it's a lot about like I left home when I was 16. I went away to play hockey, and I kind of was out the door before that. Like I just
Mm.
always was gone, wanted to go, and I think it's just kind of it's a lot about how my parents maybe received that and what it was like for them with me kind of being gone so young and just like I moved 5,000 kilometers away, when I was 21 years old and haven't really gone back too much. So um, yeah, it was one of those ones where just all these things rising to the surface and just like my brain picking aspects of it out and putting it on paper.
I have to pause here for all of my American listeners and myself to Google how far 5,000 kilometers is in miles. To...
About 3,000 miles, I
Okay,
think.
there we go. Thank you. Thank you for the
Yeah.
calculation. Thank you.
Long fucking way.
It's a long way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
where do you think you were always that way? Like, my folks say that I was always like a little bit independent, maybe a little bit stubborn from like, from a very young age. And that some of that was nurtured also because of some things in my childhood. But like my mom swears that from like basically I came out of the womb just like pretty fucking independent and couldn't tell me shit. Do you think that like some of that wanderlust was already in you, or that that spirit, or do you think it was some of it upbringing?
Now that sounds pretty familiar, I think. Um, yeah, I guess like in Pigeons, I kind of talk about in the
That
song
was
Pigeons.
I was gonna ask you about that one. Sweet. All right.
There's the line wander through the pastures, all the places I've known. Like when I was 3 years old, I used to my mom would lose me all the time. I lived out in the country, surrounded by cow fields and potato fields, and I would just take off and roam around
Mm,
from a young age. Like I was always kind of ready to go,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's the way I've always kind of. And also, like you said, um, couldn't be told much of anything or didn't want anybody to help me do anything.
Dude.
Just had to march to the beat of my own drum.
Well, I really liked what you were saying earlier when we were talking about community, about just sort of like how much easier it is if we lean into each other and if we allow people who love us to help, because I'm historically have not been good at that.
Hard to
And
do.
yeah, yeah. Is there any work that you do on that? Is that's something you unpack in therapy, or is that like any work you do on getting better about that? Clearly you're working on it, but what does that work look like?
Um, I don't even know. Like I think like the biggest, like the first time I realized that, like I've done a lot of psychedelic drugs in my
Mm,
life, and I really have benefited from them, um, and I think it's always a way to protect yourself or myself to keep people, at arm's reach um, or a control thing. Like that's,
mm,
always trying to create safety, and that's control for me.
yeah.
And um, and I think I had this mushroom trip back when I was turning around 30, and I felt this kind of mass love when I
Mm.
remember, and coming out of it, I was like, holy shit, like that's the best feeling I've ever had. To allow that in and the people I was interacting with in that experience, there was just like there was so much openness and love and and I was just like, oh, this is what it feels like to be human,
Mm,
to feel that openly and to allow it. Um and it's not something that I can hold on to all the time. It kind of comes and goes, and it depends on what state I'm in or what's going on in my life. But um yeah, it's a hard thing for me to like. I try to remind myself when I'm feeling like I'm blocking people out, or that I should be trying harder to interact with the community or whatever. But honestly, it's like an uphill battle for me still. Like
mm,
um I think for me it's like I like being out here in Canmore where I live. I'm not right in, there's not a big music scene here. I'm pretty disconnected from Calgary would be the closest city, which is where a lot of my bandmates live. Um and I've kind of like disconnected from that. And I definitely feel, when I go to the city to shows or am with friends from, outside of this area that I know from music and tour, like that's kind of when I feel my best.
Mm.
So it's just like, maybe unconsciously trying to put myself in those positions. I don't have to name it. Like I don't have to say I'm doing this. It's more like I know if I go on tour and I reconnect with that community, like that's when I feel like I'm like aligning with my purpose, or it's like that's when I feel like I'm my truest self is when I'm in that position. So it's like just trying to make the right decisions to end up there is kind of, I guess, my solution to uh, pulling away from it.
Yeah,
So-
I love it. I love it. And I'm glad for the reminder that it's been too long since I've taken mushrooms.
you know, that's kind of, I think maybe what, like I always say, something switched in my brain a few months before I quit drinking. I had an acid trip,
Mhm.
and before that, it was always like I'm on like many drugs at once, and I do acid.
Yeah.
This is not a brag, right? But I was just like always a mess, kind of. And this time I was like, I just want to try it. I just want to do acid by myself, uh, not drunk, just sober otherwise. And I did that, and it was a great, like, it's not like I had this mind altering experience in the moment, but it just kind of switched something in my brain. I felt like of how I felt with alcohol. Um,
Hmm.
I just don't like that feeling anymore of something like shutting it off or um, I don't know. I had a sip of alcohol a couple years ago by mistake, and I felt it in my whole body.
Oh, wow.
And I just remember being like, oh, like I hated the way that it felt. And
Wow.
I don't know if that came from my acid trip or what. And I'm not going to tell people to do acid because I don't need that kind of responsibility
Yeah,
on me.
yeah, yeah.
But I don't know. There's
Yeah.
something to be said, I think, for psychedelics, and then they're finding it now, I guess, in a lot of studies with depression and OCD and
Yeah.
so many so many things. So I think it can be helpful.
It makes an enormous difference for my anxiety.
Me too.
I don't do it a ton, but if I
Yeah,
do it like quarterly is kind of nice for me,
yeah,
four times a year or so is kind of ideal for me. I haven't done it four times this year, but like that uh the effects what you just said about the acid thing, like I haven't done acid, but the impact of psilocybin lasts for months for me.
hmm
Um, I don't drink as much. I am not anxious. I'm not freaking out about death.
yeah,
Especially if I dial it in just right and I have a really good experience where I'm just relaxing and communing with nature. And that love thing you said earlier is a feeling that I can relate to, of just
hmm
how intensely I feel love when I'm on mushrooms.
yeah.
Yeah, I need to acquire some mushrooms. This is this needs to happen.
Just saying. Just saying. Yeah,
Dude, this has been such a pleasure, man.
oh, for me too. I
So
really appreciate
good. Yeah,
it.
thank you. I'm so glad we connected, and I'm so glad this record's, just incredibly beautiful. And I'm so excited to play whatever part I can and spreading the word about it. I've been trying to share it on the socials as much as possible, and
Yeah,
then
no
really
worries.
looking forward to this as well. Sharing this with everybody. We tend to wrap things up with what you're getting down on, so that's the art that has you fired up at the moment. Could be music you're listening to, could be a book you're reading, TV show.
Oh man, that's a tough one. I feel like I've just been had my head in the sand working, like working, trying to get
Mm,
this record.
yeah.
Um, I mean, I keep going back to to oh shit, what's the name of the record? I can't even remember right now. Oh shit, sorry.
All good.
I got it here. My brain is cracking out today. Hooray for Riff Raff, their last record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one that I
The,
haven't
pa-
listened to in a minute.
the past is something something. Any, anyway, that record I keep going back to. I really love this songwriter, Matty Diaz, who's kind of like he's like a Nashville singer songwriter kind of person, and the record that kind of broke her out came out during the pandemic, and there's a song from it, New Person in an Old Place, and that record, it was like one of my pandemic records.
Mm.
And they just put out a new record here a couple weeks ago that I really like too. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, just like really good songwriting, really simple production, kind of them on a guitar mostly.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, love it.
Dude, thank you so much. Your record's beautiful. It's been so great to connect with you. And when you make it to the States, I'm pretty far away, but maybe you can make it all the way down to Florida. It's nice and warm here. I got the window open. It's a beautiful night.
It's winter here, cold.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's winter by our terms. I'm gonna have to put on like a hoodie here in a second. It's got to be like 65 degrees, man.
Damn, that sounds about right. I mean, I did like scrape the ice off my windshield today, so
yeah, that's something I have to do once every 5 years.
yeah.
But yeah, man, this has been such a pleasure, and thank you, Seth. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you, Jason.
All
Thanks so much
right,
for
bud.
Yeah.
Awesome. Have a great night.
You too, man.
Thanks. Seth Anderson, y'all. Thank you so much, Seth. Thank all of you for listening. SethAndersonMusic.com for all things Seth Anderson. I'm sitting here recording this on Christmas Day 2025 and have been reflecting on an incredible year. That bucket in the background doing the same. I started an open mic in my neighborhood. What is it, Bubba's? I officiated the wedding of my dear friends, started to make a record of my tunes, and so much more. This year was not without its challenges, y'all. There are some things that I didn't share with you that happened this year that were really intense, but I just felt equipped to handle them and better equipped to handle those challenges than I have in years. And so thank you for being along for the ride. For the ups and the downs. Thank you for supporting this thing. Thank you for spreading the word. MarinadePodcast.com for all things the Marinade. Follow us on all the socials. Subscribe and give us a 5-star rating on your podcast app. Tell a friend about the show. These are all free ways to support the Marinade. Go do that right now while you're listening, please. It makes a big difference for us and costs so little of your time and energy. Also, please follow Life's Greatest Hits on Instagram so you can get updates about my other podcasts with my dear friend Jordan Foley. Our 2025 Superlatives episode is on the way in a couple of days, y'all. We had a blast recording it last week, and we're so excited for y'all to hear it. Thank you for listening. There's more Marinade on the way before the year's out as well. I've got at least 2 episodes coming your way. Well, at least one before the year's out, and then maybe a second. So just really thankful, y'all. If you like what we're doing with this Marinade thing, consider joining our Patreon community. Just $2 a month, you can gain access to Patreon exclusive content like our show Jason's Journey, where I talk about the moments that shape my creative life and provide a window into the process of making the Marinade. You can try a free trial, see if you like it. No pressure. Try it for 7 days. Set a reminder on your phone in case you want to cancel. Keep going if you dig it. Don't care for Patreon. I'm also trying to get my Substack up and running. Yeah, we don't have as much of a presence over there yet. It's a relatively new thing that I started this past year, and I'm trying to navigate what that looks like in terms of the content I share there versus Patreon or both. But I'm trying to cross post as much as possible on those two things. If you want to support the show financially, but you don't want to commit to a monthly subscription, I totally get that. You can Venmo or PayPal us. It's just at the Marinade. All the money goes right back into making stuff. If you've yet to hear, I'm making a record of my original tunes. My dear friend Chris Belcher is producing it. I never imagined this would happen, but it is real. And I would love if y'all can help me out. All I'm asking is for $1 from everybody who listens and spreads the word about the show. If we can get $1, we'll be in great shape to make the kind of record that I want to make. And thank you to everybody who's contributed so far. Thank you again to our Patreon patrons. I'm just so grateful for everybody who supports this thing financially if you can. But above all, I'm just grateful y'all listen. You listen, you spread the word about the Marinade, you turn me on to new artists, you encourage me in so many ways. Thank you for every little every DM, little DM. They're all important. Every DM that you send, telling me that something resonated with you. Every time you reshare something, y'all, it goes a long way. Like if you're retweeting or rethreading or any of the things, because we're on all the stuff. It makes a big difference, and it makes me feel really good. So thank y'all. Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. If you don't, I hope you're having a wonderful December regardless. And until next time, go out and create something. Cheers, y'all.